This lesson is about prisms. We're going to draw the front, the side, the plan, and the development of a prism. Now, so far it's just a simple prism. It's whole or part of a piping, and we're simply going to cut it, truncate part of it, and see how that truncation would change the front, the side, and the development. The development would be we had to open up to fabricate it out of a thin material, as would be sheet metal, or in this case cardboard. Right, so it's a very simple shape, which will lead us to more complicated shapes now. So that's the plan. Plan is a regular hexagon. The front view, you've got three sides showing, 1, 2, 3. And the side view, looking from this side, you'll see two sides showing. Alright. Now I've already drawn front view. That's a front view, looking at it from above here. The side view, looking at 90 degrees from the front view, would give you two views, two sides, which is this view, and you've got the plan. Plan in this case is positioned on the flat edge shown here, this side here. This is this width here across corners of the hexagon gives you the width of the front view. Now, the width of the front view is not as the same width of the side view. The width of the side view is taken as the same width, the same height of the plan, because we're looking from this side. So front view has this width projected, the side view has its width projected from this length. And you can see that with the help of this 45-degree angle taken from this point, which is the starting point of the side view and the starting point of the plan, where these two lines converge, draw a 45-degree angle, which enables you to project any detail from this view to the side view. So this distance is across flats, this distance is across corners. Now, how about the development? The development is a very simple, straightforward shape. It consists of 6 equal rectangles joined together, taking the same height as the prism. That's why I've projected it exactly in line with the front and the side view, just to make construction easier. Now, if your development doesn't fit next to the side view, so what I've done here is I fitted in the front, the side, and the development next to each other. So the development was placed horizontally like this, but you could have placed the development upwards like that if you don't have enough space on this side. You have to pay attention where you take the height. The height of the side view now was taken as this length. Right? This is scaled. It's not exactly the same length. It has been scaled now. Now, where do you get the lengths of these rectangles? The lengths of those rectangles are taken not from here, because that's not the true length. You're seeing that at an angle. You take them from the plan, because the perimeter of the plan is always equal to the length of the development. Now these should be fold lines, as they are here. A long line, space, 2 dashes, and a long line. So these are all fold lines, where you should fold the development to get your prism. So I still have to darken those because I still have to truncate the front view. Now the truncation, in this case, I'm going to truncate the front view (45° angle, like so. Right, and I'm just going to keep the bottom half so I'm just going to darken a bit the bottom half. So the darker part should be drawn in a pencil such as HB. The parts which are used for construction shouldn't show, with the lighter pencils such as 2H or H. Now how would that truncation change the other views? Now the plan, in the case of a prism, will not change. It will never change unless it has been cut across the whole length and part of the base would be cut. But if you get a truncation which is from one side to the other, the plan will never change. Now how would the side view change? Alright, so I'm going to cut off top portion of this development of this prism and cut off across this line, remove this part. I'm going to see what part remains. Now the side view, the front view is very simple, just draw a line as required, but the side view, you're going to see into that opening. You're going to see into that opening, and what shape would you get that opening to be? Now that shape, since this is a hexagon and it has cut from one side to the other, you're going to get a hexagon, but it's not going to be a regular hexagon. So first of all, in this case, although it might be simple, unnecessary for such a simple shape, but I'm going to number each of the sides, each of the edges. Each of the edges I'm going to give a number. I'm going to start off from the front view to give it number 1. I'm giving that side number 1 because it's being the shortest side. So when I develop my front view, you get the shortest part of the development on the edges. Now, since this has been number 1, this is number 1, and if you project that number 1 down to the plan, you see that this point here is number 1. So I'm going to go around numbering each edge, and then I'm going to number the front view and the side view with the same edges. So here I have 2. This is number 2, go up with the projection line. This is number 3. This is number 4. Number 5 is with the 3, it's hiding behind it. Number 6 is with the 2. Now if I look at the side view, these projection lines will help me number the side view. So far I have this as number 1, but if you look at the side view from here, number 1 now is in the middle. Now that can be seen easily as well by taking this number 1, projecting it onto the 45 and finding where number 1 is. That's number 1. Number 2 is up here onto the 45, so number 2 is here. Number 2 has 3 hidden behind it now, and number 1 has 4 hidden behind it. Here we have 5 and 6. Now, the development should be numbered as well, always starting from number 1. So 1, and you end up again in number 1 because this one will join up with the other one. Now I'm drawing these numbers quite large so you can recognize them, but make sure that you draw them as small as possible and not as visible as mine are. Now, what are these numbers? How are we going to use these numbers? Now, if you look at the front view, all the edges, all of these numbers, number 1, were the same height. But now they have been reduced. Number 1 was this high, but now it's going to be cut to that height. Number 1 was that high, it's going to be cut to that height. So you can take number 1, and with your set square, you can find the perpendicular height of number 1. So with a fade line, draw a line across all over to the development, so you can see where the height of number 1. So number 1 now is that high. Even in development, number 1 is that high. You've got another number 1 in development on the other end, it's that high. Number 2 is this high. From that height has been reduced to that height. So number 2, I'm going to project again. Number 2, let me finish the side view first, is that height, because number 2 is here. From that height has been reduced to that height. Here you have number 6 as well with number 2. So that could be done again with number 6. So number 2 and number 6 have been reduced to the same height. Number 3 and number 5 have been reduced to the same height. So we've got 3 here and 5 here. And number 4 has kept its original height back there. So the shape we have for the side view would be this irregular hexagon here. That's my side view. The development is going to be done in the same way. All you have to do now is join the dots. So this projection line is for 2 and 6. This projection line is for 3 and 5, and the top projection line is for number 4. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, because it was taken from 3 and 5, 3 and 5. This was taken from number 4. This was taken from number 6. Now remember, it's easier to take points numbering from the front view, because this might confuse you. For example, this point is at number 2 or number 3. You wouldn't know which one would be number 2 and number 3, but the front view gives you all the correct lengths. This is number 2 and number 6. This is number 3 and number 5. But here you've got different lengths marked. And this would be the development for this truncated prism. Now I'm just going to darken a bit bottom edge, because the top part has been removed. And I'm going to add fold lines where I want